Hi, I'm Amy Yildiz, and welcome to Rebirth Pilates, Day 5 of March Madness. Today I have a friend with me, Jenny. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your Pilates journey?
Oh, sure. I'm Jenny Boissiere. I've been practicing Pilates maybe since I was like 17 years old, like as form of dance training, and then I got certified maybe like 12 years ago. So yeah, it's been a good journey.
Awesome. And so we're here, she's here today to help me model some of the things that we're going to be working through. We're still working on our basics. We've talked about how to get down on the mat, and we've talked about the different ways, doing the full squat or the cross-leg squat or just knee down, whatever works for the person. And if they need a chair or a stool, bringing something over to help them down. We've talked about feet and feeling all of our toes and the whole footprint into the floor when we're standing or when we're laying down with our feet on the floor, just to have that feeling. And we've talked a little bit about pelvic positioning, about what is a tuck and what is neutral or natural, and that changes for everybody. Please don't get stuck on it. We've talked about that. I say try to keep your pelvis from moving. I don't mean your pelvis is not going to move. I'm just trying to have you stabilize your pelvis. Because some people get so stuck on, but we don't want to create a lot of extra tension, because one of the principles is efficiency. And if you're creating a lot of extra tension, you're not being very efficient. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the 100. Okay. So we'll do a little bit of a warm up, feet and everything, and then we'll work up to working on the 100 breath. What is the 100? That kind of stuff, just to help people through that. And do a short little workout. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to stand this side of you, probably, and I want you to turn and face the end of your mat, and just stand nice and tall. And from here, just take a big, deep breath in, and exhale out. Good, feel your full footprint on the ground. And exhale, and then shift your weight a little bit forward into your toes, so you feel the connection of your toes into the ground, and then shift it back into your heels a little. And then just take that center of gravity forward and back a few times. Let's say 2 more. Just keep breathing. And then after this set, I want you to make that a lot smaller until you find a place where you're centered over your feet. Or you can come to a place of somewhat stillness. Good, then you're going to go ahead and shift your weight from right to left, just take it into the outside of one foot, inside of the other foot. And just feeling that weight shift, pinky toe, big toe, big toe, other side, outside of the heel to inside of the heel. Make sure you're keeping those heels down on the ground, thank you. And just shifting that weight back and forth. And then you can start to make some circles. So you'll take it forward, around, back. You'll do about 3 in one direction, and then you'll reverse directions. So really trying to make sure you get all the corners. So I know I say circles, but they have little edges. So finding all the edges, especially keeping those heels down when you go to the front right edge. So let's do an extra one in that direction. So for everybody at home, if you find a place where you feel like you're missing the corner, take a moment and do an extra one there. And then you'll start to settle into the center. You're going to lift all of your toes up off the ground and spread them out, and try to put them down little toe to big toe. And 2 more times like that. Lift them up, spread them out, little toe to big toe. 1 more time. And if you find that your hands are doing this too, that is perfectly natural and normal. And then you're going to reverse that. You're going to lift them up and you're trying to put them down big toe to little toe. And you may find it easier or harder in one direction than the other. And that's also really normal. So Jenny finds it harder this way. I think most people really do. After you've done 3 of those, you'll connect all your toes to the ground for a moment, and then just lift your big toes up. And put them down. Let's do 5. Up and down with those toes. Try to keep your weight centered over your feet and just move the big toe. It's challenging. Then you'll put that big toe down and see if you can lift all your other toes up off the ground. And do that. So Jenny laughs if she finds something challenging. So we know that she's having a little struggle with this one. So it's something she can work on. It's just trying to coordinate. And if your hands are doing it, it's because the foot and your hand are right next to each other in the brain. And so it's your brain's like, well, your hands can do it. So it's trying to help you out there. And then just take a moment, lift all your toes, spread them all the way out and put them down. And then you should be able to feel all 10 of your toes on the ground, equal weight distributed across the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot too. You should feel really centered over the arch of your feet. So she's going to take an inhale as she prepares, and exhale, she's going to come down to the mat however she wants. If she wants to go and cross her arms genie style, bring one leg behind and do the cross leg squat, she can do that. And then she'll bring herself all the way down. Nicely done.
All the way down, laying down?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start laying down. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to grab a prop. So I should have told everybody to grab this at the beginning. I apologize, but you can pause and go get yourself a hand towel of some sort. We're going to put this under her low back. Now, if your low back is already on the ground when you get here and you can find a neutral pelvis, great for you. I cannot, and I know that Jenny says that she has some struggles with that. So what she's going to do is she's going to lift up and you're going to put this under your lumbar spine. So not under your sacrum, but actually under your low back. It's going to give your back something to connect to. So you're going to feel that whole footprint. Bring your feet all the way together for a moment. Find that center line. Good. Now, toe out with your toes and follow with your heels. Maybe a little less heel. Perfect. So she's just trying to find the alignment. So we talked about hip distance apart being about the fist size of your fist. Because if I put my fist here, you can see that's where my femurs go into my pelvis. So she wants that kind of support for her body right now. Go ahead and make that diamond triangle shape, and you're going to put it onto your pelvis. So you can feel where your hip bones are and your pubic bone, and just trying to find them on the same plane for a moment. And then go ahead and start some pelvic rocks. So just rocking that pelvis back and forth, and try to incorporate some breath into it. So maybe an inhale on the arch of the back and an exhale as you lower that back down. So Jenny's doing a really good job of using her breath into the sides of her ribs and back. So that's something we were focusing on the other day. So really trying to use your breath. And now you're going to try to find a neutral or natural pelvis for you. And that's where the pubic bone and hip bones are pretty much in alignment. Yours may be a little tucked, a little arched. It's nothing to stress about. Take an inhale here. On this exhale, now that you've found that little towel behind your back, see if you can exhale and relax your back down towards the towel without tucking your tail. It's hard. It's hard, especially if you have tighter hip flexors. So if your psoas or your hip flexors are tight, it's going to be pulling your pelvis, and you're going to want to pull the pelvis up because those attach into this low back, so they're pulling that low back forward. So it's just trying to find that balance between the length of the low back, the engagement of the low abs, without over-engaging that into the tuck. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, so take a few more breaths here and just think about it. So everybody, just take the time to really seek how much can you lengthen your low back by letting it sink down to the mat, letting your ribs sink down to the mat. Because some people at home, your ribs might be flaring and popping up. Jenny does not have that problem, which is great, but that's also something that's just about relaxing, right? So a lot of Pilates, to find efficiency, is about letting go of some of the tension we hold in parts of our bodies. That looks better. Yeah. How does that feel?
I think I'm getting there. The relaxing, thinking of relaxing really helps.
Good.
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah. Now bring your arms down by your side. And see if you can find some engagement into your triceps. Doesn't have to be a lot, so she's going to push into the mat a little bit with her triceps, but it doesn't have to be a hard push. Good. Take an inhale. And on an exhale, just tuck the tail again. And then find neutral again. And maybe a little arch. Yeah, there you go. 2 more. So now she's doing it without the hands as feedback, but she's doing fine. It's just, you're upping your game just a little bit. And then she's gonna find that neutral, natural pelvis and allow that low back to sink down. And then she's gonna challenge it by lifting one of her legs into tabletop. Nice. There was a little weight shift, but not a great, it wasn't a lot. I mean, everybody's gonna have some weight shift. The pelvis moves when your leg moves. It's not, no one is superhuman here. And then you're gonna bring that leg down and try the other side. So that's easier for her. That's definitely her easier side. We'll go back to the first side. Now that we've showed it, it can be easy. Let's see if it can sink there. Much better. Yeah, sometimes just doing your easier side, the harder side figures out like, oh, now the down was a challenge on that one. No, hold that one up there, float both legs up. There you go. And then tap one foot to the ground. And switch. Now if you find this challenging, you can go back to the single leg, just 1 foot down and 1 foot coming up until you can find that kind of low abdominal connection, low back lengthening on the mat, pelvis staying relatively stable. Now she's gonna add a little challenge. As this leg comes up, the other leg goes down. And again, you can at any time go back to the one before, or even before that, so that you can start working your challenge and your strength up. So this one's definitely more challenging for her, but not undoable. That's a word. I'm going with it. One more to each side. And then you'll bring your feet down. I'm not doing this, so I don't count. So, unless she's gonna do one, like 5 on one side, then maybe I'll count, but otherwise she might be doing 20. And so if you care about the number you do, count for yourselves. Float your arms up to the ceiling. Now, neutral, pelvis, low back, long, ribs connected. How far back can you take those arms without losing all of that? And then bring them up. It shouldn't be, it's almost impossible to go more than 45 unless you have a lot of flexibility in your shoulders. And I'm just going to change my angle to C and bring it back up. Let's add a breath. We inhale as we take the arms back. And we exhale as we float them up. Nicely done. Let's do 2 more. Exhale. Good. 1 more. And exhale. Hold the arms there. Bring the legs one at a time into tabletop. Try not to change anything. Nicely done. Now squeeze the legs together. Get some inner thigh engagement. And I'm going to have you reach your legs out until you find my hand. Good. And then draw them back in. Good. Finding that low back. Inhale as you go out. And exhale as you bring it in. Good, 1 more like that. I've taken my hand away, so you're gonna have to find your own spot. Nice. Good, now we're gonna add the arms. At any time, you can go back to what we were doing before. And in. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Give yourself a little support in the center of your body, yes. Keep looking for that neutral pelvis. Keep trying to keep the low back lengthening and engaging. 1 more. Nicely done. Bring the arms down and then bring the legs down. So that's the beginning of we have an exercise called double leg stretch that we're working up towards later, and that is a prep for double leg stretch, but it really gets you warmed up and finds that engagement from your underarm all the way across to your legs. So you have this kind of big X around your body of engagement. Yeah? Now we're going to talk about the 100. Now the 100 is the Pilates exercise that most people don't like.
True.
It's true. It's hard, people. It's very hard. We're gonna do really quick and just demonstrate. So everybody take a moment. She's gonna demonstrate what the 100 looks like just for 2 rounds. Just inhale, exhale, 1 round of breath. So she'll take her legs long on the mat, take her arms up, and then she's gonna lift her legs and curl up. And she's gonna have her nose and her toes at the same height. So lower those legs a little bit. Your nose is lower, nose is lower. Now lengthen that low back, pull those abs, and pump the arms out. Good. And that's all. Bend the knees in and lower down. So what we're building up to is that, right?
Yes, we are.
That is. She would not have been happy to stay there for the full 100. So it's called the 100 because you're doing this compressive breath. So you're inhaling and exhaling. So that's for a count of 5. 5 for the inhale, 5 for the exhale. Now, if that makes you dizzy, if you hate breathing like that, there's nothing that says you can't inhale and exhale for 5. You don't have to do the, not necessary. Eventually, maybe you'll want to try it because it does help create space between the ribs and the back. But in the beginning, it can make you hyperventilate a little bit. It can make you feel uncomfortable, and that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to really get you engaged and breathing into the back of your body as much as possible and to coordinate arm movement and stability with that. So it's a whole lot going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on just the arm movement. So the arms reach long. We're still trying to keep that length. Beautiful. See, she went right to the length. Reaching your fingers long, you're just going to lift them up and right to your hips and up. And then she's going to start speeding that up for her breathing. One more set here. And pause. So this is a place to start your 100, to figure out how you're going to breathe like that and move your arms, because getting up and trying to do it all at the same time, it can be a lot. So now, only thing she's going to do is she's going to add a chest curl to that. Now this is going to be really challenging for her to keep that neutral pelvis and that length in the low back when she does it. So you're going to bring your arms up to the ceiling and you're going to curl your head, neck, and chest up. I'm going to have you use your hands on your legs real quick and pull yourself just deeper rather than higher. Yes, there you go. Now, really good job on keeping that length in the low back. A cue that I've heard recently that worked for me after hearing it about 3 times, I have to say, is to pull your low abs towards the back of your mat, like off the back edge of your mat. That really helped me find that length in my low back. Now she's gonna stay up here, reach her arms, and she's gonna do her breathing. In for 5, and out for 5. In for 5, out for 5. One more set. And out for 5. Good, recommit to that up, grab yourself, hold yourself, and then lower all the way down. That's actually harder than the next one we're gonna do, but it's a good way to like work because now her feet were down. I actually find it easier when my legs are up. She just looked at me like I was crazy. So we'll see what she thinks. So the next iteration of the 100, which we're going to be doing more than 100 today, obviously, because we're already to like, 70. But arms are going to go up. Bring your legs one at a time into tabletop. Still finding that length, low back, yes. Curl up. Grab your legs, use your hands. Use your arms a little bit. Yeah, deepen that curl. Good, at any time you feel like you're losing the curl, this is a great position to turn back to and you can just breathe here. So just holding here, do your breathing. In for 5, out for 5. One more time, in for 5, out for 5. It allows you to expand that breath in the back and start to learn it. Now she's gonna reach her arms long and she's gonna do 3 rounds. She inhales for 5 and exhales for 5. Squeeze the legs together. That'll help you stabilize your pelvis. Think about those low abs going off the back edge of your, that's it. She's gonna stay up and straighten her legs up to the ceiling, just straight up. Yeah, go ahead. And in for 5, out for 5. Now, if this is feeling great, she can start to lower her legs down. In for 5, out for 5. One more set and we're done. And out. Good. Bend your knees. Commit. Use your arms. Yes. Good. Resetting that pelvis and lower the legs down. So all of those are different levels of the 100 that you can work up to eventually work up to coming off the floor into that perfect 100. I'm putting that in quotes because there's no one has a perfect 100. There's nothing, no such thing. The goal here is to get that breath right into the back of your ribs, expand your body back there while keeping this really nice deep contraction in the front.
I really felt it with the legs in tabletop and hands and the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt my back spreading.
Right, I think that's a really good place to start to work on just the breath, right? Mm-hmm. Take the arms out of it, have the legs just in tabletop, but really allow yourself to find that openness into the back. Yay. Yay. Okay, we're gonna finish our workout with some bridging and some leg circles and maybe a little rolling like a ball, because who doesn't like rolling like a ball? So we've been working on a little bit on bridging, I think, but I think I would move your feet in a little bit closer. The further your feet are away from you, the more your hamstrings are gonna cry. So, don't make them cry so much. Find the triceps first. Yeah, there we go. Take an inhale to prepare. On your exhale, tuck your tail and round your pelvis up, pushing into that full footprint. Remember the full footprint we found in the top at the beginning of class, meaning. Watch that your knees don't splay just too much, just a little tiny bit. There you go. Take an inhale, and then you're going to try to lengthen the back as you go down. So you're really trying to articulate the spine, find that length in the low back. Find those lower abdominals. Yes. Great correction. So I don't know if y'all could see it, but there was a point where Jenny was about to skip one vertebrae, and she stopped herself and really committed to it. So self-awareness is really a big thing. 2 more. Good. Finding your triceps, pressing your whole hand down, fingers in. Yeah, there you go. Good. So as we saw earlier, how our feet can mirror our hands. If you're lifting one of your fingers up off the ground, you might be lifting that same toe up off the ground too. So if you're committing to a full footprint, you should commit to your whole handprint too. That's nice. Good. Inhale at the bottom. We're going to do one extra one. Exhale as you curl. Inhale as you pause and open up. Nice. We did that extra one because I saw that she could get just a little bit more stretch into the front of the body on the next one. So sometimes if I say 3, we might do 4. And if I say 3 and you feel like, oh, a 4th one would be great, do a 4th one. It's your body, it's your practice. I'm just here to give you a little bit of direction to take your practice in. Go ahead and move that foot out just a little bit. Yeah, and then you're gonna take one leg up to the ceiling. I'm gonna grab behind that thigh and just bend and straighten your knee a few times to stretch it out. Now, Jenny has some flexibility in her hamstrings. Not everybody does. So we're gonna start with what is a good place to start, I think, for single leg circles. And hold there. So 3 to 5, bend and straight. She's gonna bring her arms back down. She's gonna keep this foot planted like this for 3 in each direction, and then we'll try it with a straight leg. You can do both, or you can keep it bent the whole time. First, just across towards the shoulder, and then down and around, and pause at the top. And out, down and around, and pause. Working on that pelvic stability, much better. Reverse. 3, 2, out, down, and around, and pause. Hold at the top, extend your other leg on the mat, and flex your foot. See if you can really press that leg down. Yeah, there you go. And now she's gonna keep them small still, just across the body, down and around, and up. Nice. One more, and then reverse them. And if that straight leg isn't working for you, you can bend your knee at the top too. Bend your knee and bring it down. And then bend both legs. And she's gonna lift that leg into tabletop and bend and stretch it a few times. So like this hamstring's a little tighter. So when she goes to go straighten this leg, it might not be a straight leg. She may need to leave it slightly bent. We'll see. She can probably do straight, but we'll demonstrate what a slightly bent knee looks like for everyone. So if her hamstring was too tight, she could do the circles and be just as good doing a circle like that. Now straighten the leg though, because you can. The goal is to get to a straight leg if your body allows it. And then reverse for 3. Good. Down, around, hold. And last one, extend your other leg on the mat. Flex that foot. And you, thank you for correcting your pelvis, but you realize you're trying to stay even across the top of the pelvis. Thank you for catching that. Just have to think it and Jenny fixes it. And then reverse for 3, 2, 1. Nicely done. Bring that leg down, bend both knees, grab behind your legs and pull yourself up to sitting. So we worked a little bit on rolling like a ball. I'm gonna take her prop away because she doesn't need it anymore. At least not right now. And she's gonna go ahead and we're gonna demonstrate rolling like a ball in 2 different forms. Okay. So we're gonna demonstrate the very classical one first, and then we'll demonstrate some modifications. So we're gonna show where we're heading with it, and then how we can get there. Okay. Does that make sense? So bring your heels together. And then, yeah, so one way to do it, do you see how she put her hands down and moved herself closer to her heels? That would be my preference for getting into this shape. Come up onto your toes and balance. Heels together. Yeah, find this shape and just hold it for a moment. So this is our starting and our ending point. And then she's gonna use her breath and roll herself back onto her shoulders and then back up onto her hips. Nice balance. Jenny likes rolling. One more. Hold there. Good. Go ahead and put your feet down. That might not be accessible to everybody today, and that's okay. Some different ways we can hold. We can hold behind our thighs instead and move our feet a little bit further away. We're still trying to keep the shape, right? This distance between her head and her thighs is trying to remain the same. And then go ahead and roll it back and bring it up. Ooh. Yeah, so this can actually be a little bit more challenging to not use your hip flexors. Yeah. So it might be a good thing if you're really good at the other one to take a moment and try this one, because for me, as we saw the other day when I tried it, also harder.
Definitely harder, yeah.
Makes you use your abs a lot more. Yeah, we got one more. And then she's gonna come up to standing. Now her choice, she can come up fancy or she can come up however she wants. We'll work on a rolling like a ball into standing at some point in our lives, but not today. So take a moment and just stand into your full footprint. Take a few deep breaths, feeling your 10 toes on the ground. Go ahead, inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, round down over your legs. Soften your knees as you need to. Take a moment there, breathe. Let your head go, maybe nod yes and no. If you feel like grabbing your elbows and doing some circles with them, that's maybe swinging your body a little left and right. And then let everything go. Take an inhale and exhale, round all the way up to standing. And you did class. Thank you again for coming. Thank you, Jenny, for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see all of y'all tomorrow. So see you here on the mat.